Thank you, Steve, and thanks to everyone for being here today. I have been anticipating this anxiously for well over a year. And the reason is that I get to work with the ACEEE staff, with the ACEEE board, and we're really pondering these immense challenges that face us. We have had 40 successful years, but there is so much more to do. And I'm honored to be here today to share a little bit about what we've accomplished, but more importantly, let's pivot and talk about what we're going to do next. And I'm honored to be able to share that. You know, 40 years ago, back in 1979, a group of individuals, like-minded individuals grounded in research and data, got together. They were from academia. They were from the Department of Energy. They were from public service commissions. They were men and women across this country who were concerned about America's response to the oil crisis. You saw the lines in 1979 at the gas pumps. And the solution that was in place was, we're just going to double down and drill more and get more domestic supply. And these folks were like, man, we're missing a boat. We are wasting energy every day. If we could just harness the power of the energy that doesn't need to be used, we can make such an impactful difference. And they wrote what they called a manifesto. And it was grounded in research, and it presented a path forward of where we could reduce in America energy production, energy usage by building retrofits, by better transportation, more efficient transportation, by improving industrial processes. And here we stand today, 40 years later, a part of this amazing organization, and we've done it. We have doubled energy productivity in this nation. We have reduced energy usage by 50%. And importantly, for businesses and consumers across this country, we have helped them save money on energy. We have reduced their share of wallet that they're spending on energy. So it is exciting, and we're proud to be celebrating 40 years. But I don't know about you, but I have 2 young boys at home. And I am concerned about their future. We have got to do more. It is simply not enough. The reality and pace of climate change due to global energy use threatens our world's well-being and compromises our global economy. It threatens our health. It threatens our safety. And it is disproportionately impacting low-income communities, communities of color, and countries that are developing. As we think about our opportunities going forward, looking forward to 2050, we have a pathway. Energy efficiency can get us 50% there. And you combine that with the other solutions that are in play, which I am so encouraged about, new renewables, large-scale offshore wind. There are so many opportunities to address this, but we've got to mobilize at a pace and scale unlike we have seen before. So Steve shared this, and this is just such a tremendous report. I encourage you to read it in entirety. It has such a great pathway forward. Lowell Unger was the joint author on this. But what this demonstrates is that America can reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, our energy use by 50%. We achieved that in 2050 while improving the economy. All of those videos that Wendy showed on that, on the video, all those pictures of people delivering energy efficiency, these workers are local. This is not workers from overseas. They're not building big turbines. They are local workers in our homes, in our businesses, retrofitting, installing new processes, installing energy management systems that is good for the economy. It creates jobs. It is good for our consumers. It reduces that energy share of wallet. The halfway there plan, as Steve highlighted, still has the fundamentals. It really goes after the buildings. And we continue to work on industrial processes and transportation, but more. It starts to move into freight and into aviation. It starts to look at building performance standards, which is a real leading edge space that just a few states are getting into. It starts to look at how we really transform the industrial efficiency. So as I said, I'm thrilled to be on the ACEEE board. It is so inspiring. It is really a highlight of my career. And as we pondered over the past year, celebrating this 40th anniversary, we really struggled with what is next. We spent a lot of time reading that grounding manifesto that these amazing men and women wrote back in 1979, and we felt it was so good, it's gotten us so far, but it is not enough. It didn't address the need to combine with renewables. It didn't address the need to address climate change, to reduce the emissions strong enough. And so we knew we needed to rewrite it. And you saw some of those pictures there from ACEEE. That was the moment. We had a strategic meeting at ACEEE in August 2018. And the board, at the end of that, had an enlarged ambition. We needed to do more. I still get chill bumps when I think about it. It is an amazing, amazing commitment by our board. And so we have a bold new vision for energy efficiency. Our vision is to aggressively mobilize and scale up energy efficiency to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and combat climate change, and in doing so, create substantial economic savings. So I think about my children, and I think about 2050, and my oldest will be nearly 50. He'll be in his 40s at that time. And I will likely, potentially be retired. I'll be in my 80s, so it's likely I'll be retired. Seems like a long way. And that was what our board struggled with over the past year. It is a long way. Can we put markers down sooner that drive us faster to scale at a different mechanism, to scale it in a different way? And we felt it was important to do that. So, in addition to our bold vision, we outline a series of actions that move us forward by 2030. You heard one of the speakers there talk about 2030. 2030 is in the headlights. We are all in the game. We are on the field in 2030, all of us in this room. Because it's going to take not only ACEEE, but it's going to take all of our partners, and it's going to take a variety of solutions to really address this climate crisis that we are in. So our path forward to 2030, we identified 6 areas, 6 markers that we're putting down. We're throwing down the flags, as they say. One of them is the industrial greenhouse gas emissions. We propose to reduce that by 1/3. It's aggressive, but there are ideas about how we do that. And that 50% of U.S. Manufacturing uses energy management systems across this country. If we move forward, fuel efficiency, that by 2030, fuel efficiency of new vehicles is increased by 50%. And additionally, we identify that 20% of all new vehicles are electric vehicles. We have a huge way to go. In Massachusetts, we have a goal of 250,000 by 2025, and we have a paltry 8,000 on the road today. We've got barriers that we have to break down that's going to change that. We know the range anxiety continues to be one of those, and I'm proud at Eversource that we are putting in an infrastructure that will address that, to help our customers know that they can charge those vehicles along the way. But it takes more than just that. Additionally, all new construction is zero energy and carbon neutral. So we don't continue to add to the challenges going forward. New construction, we can address that today. And that we will double the energy retrofits across this country. As we think about it, we're also going to address the power sector. Increasingly, when power is used is important. So how we address both the demand and flexibility of the power grid is critical. So we will be developing solutions in that space. looking to utilities, driving them to use energy efficiency as the first resource, as we have done in Massachusetts, and having the huge success in Massachusetts because of that. Additionally, we expect the energy supply to be 50% carbon-free by this time frame. Energy burden. I mentioned share of wallet at the beginning. This is increasingly a challenge. Climate impacts are disproportionately impacting low-income communities and communities of color. Their share of wallet spent on energy is larger than others. And in fact, research by ACEEE shows that 24% are spending more than 6% of share of wallet on energy. And that's considered a heavy energy burden. We have a goal of reducing that by 50% by 2030. And we also know that with this climate crisis, the temperatures are rising. There's going to be more and more need for air conditioning across the world. So as we transport these cooling solutions, let's do so in a way that they are highly efficient and using new technologies. So those are our markers for 2030. They're bold, and they imply a different level of investment. So I want to pause back to 1979, that group of forward-thinking people, of men and women, of public and private sector across this country, who, grounded in research, wrote the manifesto that's founded ACEEE, and they secured $100,000 from MacArthur to found ACEEE. Now, I spoke to Carl Blumstein, our chair who mentored me for several years, and he shared with me that they nursed that first $100,000 for 3 years to get ACEEE up and running. And today, look at it, 100 times bigger. We are a $10 million organization. Can you imagine if we could do it in another 40 years and be $1 billion? Double it and do it 100 times again. That is really the scale that's going to be needed. And it seems impossible to get there, but I don't know that they would have ever thought it was possible to get to 10 million. And here we are today. So ACEEE is committing to lead the way. We will serve as the catalyst, an agent for systemic change to address our climate crisis. And we will do so with our partners. Part of our process as we developed this new bold vision was we reached out and we conducted interviews with partners and allies and folks we work with, and with a lot of organizations we don't. And you know what we came away with? We realized there are a lot of synergies that we can tap into, that where we can take 1 + 1 and make it 3. And that is really what it's going to take to scale these solutions, to achieve these markers by 2030. We also know it will take increased funding. And so as part of that, we have identified a halfway there fund. We know energy efficiency can take us halfway to our goal of reducing carbon, of taking carbon out of the environment, to our 2050 goal. Energy efficiency can deliver half of that. The halfway there fund is designed to help us boldly and fiercely scale these efficiency measures. So it's going to be supported by forward-thinking individuals, and a few of you are in the room today. And I hope that all of you will consider being a part of this important fundraising aspect as we look to kick off that next seed money that will take us the next 40 years, just like MacArthur helped us with the first seed money of $100,000. Here are some of the members who have already stepped forward. I'm proud to say my own CEO, Jim Judge, has stepped forward to be on this committee. Senator Rob Portman is on our committee. We have some folks here, Gene Rodriguez and Clay Nessler, a few others, Dan Riker, who's on our board, just retired off our board, Lisa Jacobson. Also, Josh Green, A.O. Smith, I know that the A.O. Smith folks are here. And so many others have supported, and I hope all of you will consider it. I sent out a sneak peek of our, well, not a sneak peek, I sent out the draft declaration to our board and previous board members. And I wanted to read you a response from one of them, Professor Richard Ottinger. So Professor Ottinger says, "Congratulations. I just contributed $500. It is all I can afford at 90. As one of your earliest advocates and board members, and in commemoration of Art Rosenfeld, who introduced me to ACEEE so many years ago, I want you to know I am still keeping the faith. All the best, Dick Ottinger." I hope all of you will join me in keeping the faith. We have so much more to do. It does require a doubling and redoubling of our efforts, and I am proud for ACEEE to lead the way forward. Thank you very much.